I'm a full-time landscape photographer since 2009, and I wished at the beginning of my 16 years career to have someone to show me and tell me what I'm about to show you in this video. You're going to see 13 light situations, and I will convince you that there is no such thing as a bad light situation. You just need to learn how to approach it. And just not to have this 13 number, which sounds like a bad luck number, I will add a bonus situation, number 14. So it's going to be at the end. The first situation that I'm going to share with you is foreground to background light. Now let me show you some photos and I'll tell you what I mean by that. If you take a look at this photo, for example, I have a really strong foreground element. It's rocky, it's stony, but your attention will not stay in this foreground element, no matter how strong the foreground element is, only if you have light in the background. It's a very simple trick. You just wait for the light to get to the place you want, especially during sunrise or sunset. The light will move across the land, and when the light hits the spot that you're interested in, take the photo. It's the same thing with this photo over here during sunrise, where it doesn't matter if the foreground element looks really interesting. The fact that I have light in the mountain in the background, it helps a lot with the visual contrast, and it will draw the attention of the viewer specifically to that spot. Again, with the sunset in Lofoten Islands, where I also decided to do a really long exposure. The reason for that was to take the distraction in front of the viewer. The distraction was represented by the small ripples of water. So you have free road, if you want, to concentrate on the light in the background. And just look how beautiful that light is. For example, this one over here, where I have these beautiful flowers. But even if these flowers are really beautiful, you're not going to stick with those flowers. You're going to go into the photo, in the depth of the photo, and you will look where the light is. It's the same situation over here, kind of like the same photo if you want, where you have again a trail of rocks, if you want, that go towards the light. This journey that takes you from one place to the other based on the light in the background will be the easiest thing that you can do. I also have this photo, which looks absolutely spectacular. It's a moment before sunrise, and this is another side tip. If you want to have spectacular sunrise photos, go there at least 45 to 30 minutes before sunrise. Have your gear ready and just wait. If you're lucky, you're going to get some cloud light that looks like this. Second light situation, which I learned the hard way, if you want, because I missed a lot of opportunities, is waiting for the light to happen. And in my career, I think I had pretty many situations when I left the scene before the good things happened. And the last thing happened during one of my workshops in the Dolomites, where I said there's nothing that could happen, and I was packing my gear when the sun hit the landscape and created a magic moment. Now in this photo, for example, I have the early hours of the morning. And you see this really beautiful mist that is surrounding the pine trees, and you only see the tip of the pine trees. And there's a really zigzag flow to the fog, and I think this really looks really well. Even though this photo looks really interesting and beautiful, it has a haunting vibe, if you want. It's not the most happiest photo, but the minute the sun rises, you get this emotion where you have light and shadow, and you can see the light hits some parts of the forest and some parts of the fog, and has some of the pine trees in shadow, and this creates beautiful separation, and you have this really beautiful, calm, and serene photo, if you want. This was a moment after sunset. What is happening before sunrise it's also happening after sunset. If you have clouds in the sky and the horizon line is free of clouds, you're going to have this beautiful sunset light that is glowing in the clouds above. And all that glowness will reflect down. As you can see, there's a little bit of tint of redness in the water. Waiting for the light to happen, it has to be one of the qualities of a landscape photographer. The last photo of this example is this one. It's just when the sun is rising. So of course, when you're there to photograph the sunrise, you will be here through the entire moment of the sunrise. But realize that you have to be there, as I said, 45 to 30 minutes before sunrise to capture all the moments. The minute the sun just goes above the horizon line, that's a really beautiful moment when you have to be there. In this particular spot that you're seeing right now, I photographed a sunrise, and only a teeny beeny area of the horizon was free of clouds. The rest of the sky was full of dark clouds. And I remember that there were several photographers that left the sunrise and went back to the chalet because they said there's nothing that could happen. And the sun hit that exact spot and the whole valley was magic. Situation number 3 is related to photographing the light as it is, but experimenting with the way you interpret the photo. When I talk about interpretation, I'm talking about editing. So the way you are editing, it can be in color or black and white. And you can go in between. You can have something that it's almost black and white, but it's not black and white, or you desaturate a little bit more some colors, and some of the other colors you left them more saturated. Now I want to show you a photo. This is a famous peak from Dolomite Mountains. It's called Cadini di Misurina. Misurina, it's a lake, and this is the mountain that it's above that lake, so it makes sense to call it Cadini di Misurina. What I want to show you is this version, which is in black and white, and this one, which is in color. The composition is a little different, but you see kind of like the same mountain. Now, again, this situation, which is a sunrise situation, this is the black and white version, and this is the color version. And from what I see here, the flames on the mountain are really good in color, and probably would have been a better interpretation to leave it as it is, to leave it as a color image. The good thing is to experiment, because you are going to develop yourself a personal style. You will learn what works and what doesn't work, and you will learn what you really like, because photography, it's about you. Situation number 4 is my favorite by far. As you know, if you're following me, I'm mostly photographing forests, and I really, really like how beautiful and calm the entire landscape is inside the forest. It's like therapy to me. It's photography, it's a job, it's passion, it's a hobby, and it's therapy. It gets me out of the stress of trying to sell my photography. So if you want to support me, for example, you can go on the link on the description and you can buy one of my courses or my ebook, or join me to one of my photo tours. So forest gives me a lot of power, if you want. It makes me a stronger person, not only a better photographer. And the light inside the forest, I think it's one of the most magical and beautiful types of light that you can encounter. And for example, in this photo, this is the morning light. And when you have areas that have differences in temperature really big between night and day, you're going to see this type of rays, because the morning light and the morning glow and morning warmth will raise the dew from the moss and the vegetation, and will create these beautiful vapors of small foggy atmospheric situations, and the light will really light up all that fog, as you can see over here, which is, in my personal opinion, it's like witnessing a fairy tale moment, if you want. I have those rays coming down. The trees in the foreground are a lot darker, and you get the sense of depth. For me, this kind of situation it's perfect. I could photograph this type of photos all day long. And again, this one over here is the same forest. It's the same forest, and it's happening all over again. Every year that I go here in this location, I have a photo tour over here. We're staying by tent, and we're camping, and we're having a campfire. It's a completely different experiment, and it will make you, I don't know, more in tune with nature. Also, if you are a landscape photographer, it will help you developing yourself as a person. This is my forest. I'm saying my forest, but it's not really my forest. I'm saying my forest because I'm photographing a lot at this forest. This is sunset light combined with foggy situation where you see the light kind of floods the fog in the background. Again, this I don't know how to call it, but this light inside the forest, when you have a little bit of fog, again, sunset light with a little bit of fog, and the sun is going down a little bit, and you get this ray of light that simply floods the forest. Or you have situations where the light is flat because the fog is really thick. And I had people telling me that, wow, this is really creepy. I wouldn't go in that forest at a time like this, especially alone. But for me, it's such a magical moment. For me, the forest looks amazing no matter what the time I'm going in there. And you get also these kind of situations where the only thing that I need to do was to change the color of the fog to go towards bluish and to accentuate the orange leaves of the tree. And I get this magical moment. And it's not something that I have to work a lot for it. I just need to be there. Another type of light, it's flat light when you use the branches of the tree, kind of like graphical elements, and you get the light shining to their back, lighting up the foliage. And in my personal opinion, it looks really, really great. Now let's move to situation number 5, which talks about flat light or even light. And as you can see, it's a pretty simple image over here that you're looking at. I learned that in situations like this, you can make the most of it. You can still make spectacular photos with a few tricks. For example, in this situation, I made a long exposure. And by doing a long exposure, the landscape became frozen. It gives you that feeling of cold, basically it gives you the feeling that winter is here. Something like this. You're expecting Jon Snow to emerge from the mountains with the entire army, and winter is here. The dragon is missing, but you get the idea. So if you're looking at this first photo, not necessarily the best one, but the second one, I think it's a lot better. Another situation that's right after sunset, I decided to go with a really long exposure. That blue cast, I didn't want it to correct it because it reflects the blue hour light. Situation number 6, it's all about drama. If I am able to create a dramatic photo, a moment that when you look at it, you're saying to yourself, wow, this is a miracle happening, I think it's a success for me. And take a look at these photos from the Dolomites. And for example, this first one, it's right after a storm in the Dolomites, and you see the raw power of nature. You're simply dominated by the mountain and how those mists rise from the mountain. It's again over here, it's just during the day, but there are clouds in the sky, and the light goes between the clouds and forms that spot of light. Of course, that I increased the contrast hard in post-editing, and I went to black and white, but the light was there. Another dramatic situation is this one in Tuscany, where I had a storm, and again the sun went under the storm clouds and you get this beautiful, beautiful light. Again, in the Dolomites, where you have the light shining between these two rocks, it looks like you have a big reflector over there, and you're shining light on the mountain, just where you want it. Or this situation where you had light in the background, but you still got that beautiful cloud. It's almost like the peak is wearing a hat. And this one, which I call it the miracle. I mean, if you look at how the light shines on that rock, you have shadow, light, and then shadow. You can't. A lot of people that are seeing this particular photo are telling me this is not real. This can't be real. You can't have light, natural light that shines like this, but it's real. You can take my word for it. Situation number 7. It's about light during springtime. Springtime and autumn have this beautiful qualities that you have color in the trees. Well, in spring, you don't necessarily have color. You mostly have white of the flowers if you're photographing cherries, or maybe pink if there are pink cherries. But whenever this is happening, whenever I'm photographing during this moment, I'm trying to have the light coming from the back. And you see, for example, in this photo where you have a thin layer of light that shines on the edge of that hill. And this creates a really interesting photo where the hill becomes like a graphical element, and it's almost like you're drawing on it. It's really beautiful. It's the same location. I just moved the frame a little bit to the left. That light that shines only on some elements, this is the situation that I'm looking for. This is, I think, the beauty of capturing a landscape, because you're capturing in a way that not many people are seeing it. Many people are used to see the landscape full of light. But when you have light only on some elements, that's when the magic happens, because you get to accentuate some parts of the landscape, and you get to notice, because in a way, photography is the art of noticing. A simple spring tree, you can see in this photo, it's a simple tree blossoming, and I get all this green. It helps a lot that I have shadow behind the tree, and there's a little bit of light on the tree on that left side of the tree, and then some light on the foreground. And all that light helps concentrate the attention of the viewer. Anytime you're going to photograph, light will draw the attention of the viewer. Where the light is, your subject will be. Situation number 8 talks about a moment when, for example, in this photo in the Dolomites, as you can see, it was a very plain morning. No sky full of clouds, no special light or nothing. But still, if you see this reflection, you're going to have a calm feeling related to this photo. Of course, that you also get this feeling when you have sunrise light. But again, there are no clouds in the sky, which makes it perfect to photograph this reflection, this situation. So whenever you have the possibility to do a reflection, do it. Situation number 9 happens to me in a specific location. Whenever I'm going in Tuscany with my photo tour, by the way, it's in May, so not this May. This May, the photo tour is full. But if you want to list for next year, just send me an email. Whenever I'm in Tuscany, the landscape during sunrise looks to me like a painting. I mean, take a look at this photo. It looks like a painting. It's so picturesque that you almost want to go into an old town and eat some pasta and drink some wine, which we're doing during the photo tour. The same situation, the same morning. This is the photo. This is another photo when the sun went above the horizon line and flooded the entire area. And this is the same morning. To my right, I had clouds, and it looks like a painting to me. This quality of light it's very easy to recognize if you're going to look often at paintings. Situation number 10, morning glow. You see this ray of light. Now, I'm pretty sure you're photographing in the morning and you're used to photographing in the morning light, but photographing this morning glow, it's really something. It's more than a simple sunrise. You get this beautiful sun rays that are flooding the landscape, and they're creating this beautiful situation. Again, I'm having this foggy morning, and the sun lights up the fog and makes this beautiful scene. Or again, take a look at this photo where the light is coming from above the hill that it's behind the house. And again, you get light only on some areas of the landscape. Make sure you're following this concept that it's really simple. Whenever the light is shining only parts of the landscape, that is the moment when you want to photograph. You will have a lot more contrast, better definition, better separation. Your subject will pop more. Again, another house, the light that's coming from behind, and you get this, I don't know how to call it, but it's beautiful. And take a look at this sunset from the Dolomites. It's that ray of light that shines on Marmolada, and it's almost like a miracle happening. Now, what about number 11? Light in the middle of the day. Many photographers are not photographing in the middle of the day, but learn how to photograph in the middle of the day, and you'll get a lot more situations to photograph. For example, here, where I did a long exposure, but I had a situation where there was a really high mountain to my left, and the sun was really low in Norway at that moment, and I had light only in the background. But as you can see, it's normal daylight in the background. This long exposure that I did in the middle of the day, it's a normal day with normal light, but the long exposure makes it interesting, makes the photo looking a lot more interesting because of the movement of the clouds. And this one, again, I've placed that hut right in the middle of the shot, and I used the movement of the clouds to create an element of interest, of contrast. So it doesn't matter the moment of day you're photographing in. You can photograph even like this. If you know how to capture it, it's okay to photograph during the day. Situation number 12. I had moments when the light was flat, like for example in this photo, but all of a sudden I got a certain glow. I don't know how to describe it. I have to show it to you. Look, this situation over here. The light was kind of flat, but from time to time, the sun managed to go through the clouds and create those shadows and create that light. Whenever that happened, the landscape looked really beautiful. By the way, that small figure over there, it's me with my green jacket. And it gives, I'm giving proportion and dimension to the landscape. Number 13, and we're closing into the last situation of light, followed by the bonus. If you stick with me until this moment, I'm pretty sure you really enjoyed this video. So let's go with number 13, buildings. And for example, when I have a building like this one in Norway, it's obvious that you want to compare it with the landscape. And that's why I framed this with the mountain in the background. And after I did the photo like this, I noticed that everybody is photographing this small house with that mountain in the background. I can't say right now that I didn't knew about it, because those photos are everywhere, and there are people that were doing this type of photo long before me. This small chapel in Tuscany, I'm photographing it during sunset with a long lens, and because I'm using that long lens, I'm compressing the field, and I'm using that road which is pretty far away, that road in the distance that goes around like this. I'm using it as a leading line. that intersects with the edge of the plane and concentrate your attention on the chapel over there. And now let's go to the bonus situation, which talks about unique light. And unique light refers to a situation that you can only get in a certain area. For example, those dramatic shots that I did in the Dolomites. But I want to show you a photo that you can do only in the far north, and that is the Northern Lights, which are, in my personal opinion, one of the most spectacular moments that you can witness on this earth. Next March, I have a photo tour in Lofoten. If you're interested, send me a message. The link is in the description of this video. It's on my website. That's me over there in the photo. I use the lantern to shine some light in front of me just for you to be able to see the silhouette, to have a little bit of element of contrast if you want. And above it's, of course, the beauty of the Northern Lights. The first time I went to Norway, I stayed there, I think, for 12 days, and I had the opportunity to see the Northern Lights only in one night, but it was really, really spectacular. For all of you that stayed until this moment, I would say a big thank you. Don't forget to continue to photograph because it's the only way to get better, and see you in the next video.